Hello. Welcome to Tutors of Life podcast, where we research life so you don't have to. Episode 338. This is your host, Shaun Tutor.
And this is Sam. And this is a talk episode where the tutors talk. So,
Let me see here. Brooke's been running me through Dana workouts.
yeah, you miss them?
I'm so fucking sore.
You missed them, didn't you?
I am so sore.
I'm telling you guys, Shaun judged me when I first got the app. And then,
What do you mean I judged you?
like, you didn't think they were that tall. Like, just hearing, like, oh, I'm doing Dana and Bailey workouts, like, people just are like, oh, it's not going to be that hard. And they fuck you up.
Yeah. When I originally hear of, like, someone who created a program, I immediately think, like, oh, okay, they just throw some shit together and then just charge money for it. Nope. It's like the workout she does.
Mm-hmm. It's very thought out.
It's like bodybuilding level workouts.
Yeah.
Like pro bodybuilders follow those workouts for prep.
Yeah, so if you become like a member of hers, then you can join her Facebook group, and there are quite a few people that post on there that compete and follow her workouts.
And men and women.
Yeah.
And it's fucking
But like,
stupid.
right, we told Mitch about it, and Mitch was just like, whatever. And then he did one, he's like, fuck, I need this. And we're like, yep.
It's crazy, dude. I'm so fucked up.
It's only $8 a month. If you pay for the year, I think it's actually only $5 a month.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Brooke just told me that. I didn't know you could pay for an annual subscription.
Is that what you're going to switch to?
I don't know. I guess I could.
It would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's dope. So I'm currently just sitting here. Miserable.
Same. But for different reasons.
All right. There's not much that kills a guy or gal as Bulgarian split squats.
Dude, yeah.
You know, I've been doing Bulgarian split squats since I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember them being this hard.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when I was younger, I just had a little more spit, a little more fire.
Probably also joints are a little bit more...
Joints were a lot less angry.
Yeah.
Like today, my hamstring, like, I could feel it on the verge of wanting to tweak.
Oh, yeah.
And shit. And I'm like, God dang, dude. Like, I used to be able to just... But anyways, it's just... I think I probably just need to warm up more. I need to do like a 30-minute warm-up routine probably.
It's also something you don't do often enough where your body's probably not like building those ligaments and stuff. So probably doing it more often to...
That would help.
Progress up.
That would help. Yeah, pretty wild.
But yeah, so I highly recommend... I think it's been a while since we've talked about it anyways.
Yeah.
But so like on the app, you can choose, it's not through her. It's through like Playbook, but you can subscribe just to her, which is cheaper than subscribing to Playbook altogether. But anyways, so she has like, her regular daily workouts, which switch every week. She has home ones. So if you don't want to go to the gym, you can do them at home. All you really need for those is dumbbells and bands. And then she has like limited equipment, and then she has some different programs that you can do as well. So she has like a
bodybuilding, powerlifting.
Yeah. Like a 4-day-a-week split. Yeah. Or if you just want like a leg workout, she has a section just for legs, and you can scroll through and see what they are. And then she does a couple challenges a year where you can win money. This year she's actually done more than she ever has. This is the third one just started. And usually she only does 2. But so this year she did one in the fall, because she always does one in the winter and always at the beginning of summer. So now this year she did a fall one as well. But yeah, I mean, it's just a really great app to, if you don't want to think about what you want to do at the gym, you just pull up the app, do what you want. It tells you exactly what it is. You can even put in like what weights you used. So then when that exercise comes up again, you can see what weights you've used in the past, which is really nice. So yeah, and then you can also join her Facebook page, which is a really good community, I think, especially for people that are just starting to getting into working out, because there are lots of people that post on there that are really quite inspiring, because they'll like, some of them will just flat out be like, I hate posting pictures of myself, but I'm going to post it on here to keep myself accountable. So you can see where people are at. You can see people's transformations just from using the app in the past 1 or 2 years. So it's a really neat group.
Yeah.
So yeah, I highly recommend it. Men and women, like we said, it's good for both.
Yeah. Cool.
Not sponsored, by the way.
What else is new? Let's see here. Fucking dude, I got nothing.
Your brain just left the room.
You wanna know what I was actually thinking of?
Sure.
All right. First thing, I got a sliver in my finger and it got infected. And I was like, Sam, we got to get this out, but it's buried under the skin. So she just like pricked a little hole in my skin and the sliver just shot out. It just like came out from a little squeezing. And so that's kind of crazy.
That was dope.
That was one thing. Second thing I was thinking about, Robert Kiyosaki. If you listen to his podcast, is Doom and Gloom 101.
Yeah.
All he does is doom and gloom, right? I remember years ago I listened to his podcast and he was like, come this time of year, you should really be looking at moving out of stocks and crypto and stuff and moving into gold and silver. And I listened. I didn't move into gold and silver. I just sold a bunch of stocks and crypto. And it worked out well for me. I made money. Then it came around a couple years ago to do it again. And he did the same warning. Hey, it's been good. It's time to get out. Things are going to go down. Get into gold and silver. And at that same time, I had people who were like, oh, bro, just stick it out. Hold it. You'll be fine. Like, just hodl. Go to the moon. You'll be fine. So I'm kind of listening to them. I'm like, okay. And then I started listening to some other dudes in the game, some other big rich guys in the game who are like, oh, all Robert Kiyosaki does is he does this doom and gloom so that you buy gold and silver with his company because he's invested in a gold and silver company. And I was like, oh my God, that makes sense. So it's not actually going to be as bad as he says. So I listened to the people around me and I listened to those other rich guys and I didn't listen to Robert Kiyosaki because, you know, I had previously listened to him and it worked out good. So why would I listen to him a second time when I'm hearing a bunch of other things from people who, you know, aren't as qualified to tell me those things? But I listen. The reason, you know, I just thought about it now. By me not listening to Robert Kiyosaki, it cost me a couple $100 G's.
Yeah.
And I just was looking at the bookcase and I saw Robert Kiyosaki, and it brought back those memories for me of the importance of being very selective who you take advice from. I don't know your situation, but because I was listening to somebody who previously had given me good advice, and then I ended up, instead of listening to them, which if I would have listened to him and did the thing I was going to do, I would have not only made like over 100 G's, I wouldn't have then lost a couple $100 G's, which wraps me into a big motherfucking loss. From like the potential of what I could have had to what I ended up losing. He said, yeah, it just reminds me of be very selective who you take your advice from and stuff. And there's another guy I used to listen to who always talked about trading stocks and stuff. And so I listened to him and I bought a bunch of stuff. And a couple of the businesses actually went out of business. One of them lost a shit ton of money, and I lost a ton of money because I was listening to YouTube stars.
Was that guy that I was just like
Kevin?
Yep. I told Shaun, I was like, I just don't have a good feeling about this guy. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think he's like actually qualified and all this shit. And Shaun's like, no. He's like proven. He's made so much money. Blah 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 blah. And I was like, whatever. But I don't trust this guy.
It didn't work out.
No, I was right.
Yeah. Yeah, there's shit, dude. I don't know. I just thought about it from looking at Robert Kiyosaki. So that's cool.
That is cool.
So, be cool to listen to him now. I haven't listened to him in a couple of years.
Meet Kevin?
Robert Kiyosaki.
Oh, yeah. Do we know where Meet Kevin is at now?
I'm sure he's still fucking huge, dude. Guaranteed still huge.
Let's Google that shit. Talk about Meet Kevin.
YouTube.
Who's Meet Kevin?
I'm not talking about him. He's just a guy on YouTube. I don't care to talk about him.
Oh, okay. He's a dad of 7?
What?
I also don't like how he puts daddy of 7.
That's weird.
Daddy of 7, hubby of 1. Sometimes talk about real estate, finance, motivation, and success.
Does he still post out 5 videos a day?
Let's see. No.
Oh.
Nope, he definitely does not post 5 videos a day. One. Look at this. Oh yeah, 1 for today. 2 yesterday. 1 the day before. But I don't know. Yeah, because this is him, isn't it? Yeah. His show is completely different now. Probably because he gave so much bad financial advice.
Oh, he's just switched to only doing 1 or 2 videos a day instead of...
But he's like talking about like politics. He talked about Caleb Hammer's show.
Yeah, he's just trying to come up with, because what he was doing was he was really big into like stocks and shit when stocks were really big.
Yeah.
And
so now he's just trying to find the next best thing.
He's just on shit that gives him views.
Yeah.
I listen to people about him and stuff, and yeah, I mean, he doesn't get the kind of views he used to get and stuff. It doesn't look like.
No.
But yeah, he does things for like the thumbnails, the clickbaity stuff and stuff. I mean, he makes a absurd amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's kind of cool to see.
Yeah.
That has changed. What's up?
Oh, I was just gonna take your phone back.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Keep going. Brooke responded to me.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know. I just still think he's creepy, and yeah, he's just trying to find his next high, basically. I've seen clips from. I just don't have time to watch all of Caleb Hammer's shows because they're like 2 hours long. But he had a girl on who is. She thinks she's gonna be the next Hawk Tuah girl.
Interesting.
So she's like, I just post random videos in hopes that like one of them will get me famous, and then I can have a merch line and blah blah blah. And she's like living off of daddy and mommy's money because she grew up rich. Mm-hmm. And it is just so funny to listen to this girl. Like,
who's dumb as fuck.
Right. She takes no responsibility for anything. She went on a trip to Europe with her friends, and Caleb was just like, how much money do you think you spent on this trip? And she's like, oh, probably only $1,000. And like that was like when she was there. So not counting like
right, trip, travel and stuff.
Yeah. $8,000. And she thought she only spent $1,000. Mm-hmm. I was like, girl, you have no concept of money.
Zero. Presidential debate.
Vice presidential debate.
Vice presidential debate.
Yeah, you finished it.
I finished it.
Nice. How was it?
It's pretty good.
That's good.
It was a lot about policies and shit, which I thought was really good.
It was a first.
That's what we should have. That's how debates should be. Cordial. But dude, I mean, a lot of people have said it, plain and simple. Vance walked over Waltz. Mm-hmm. Walked over him. It wasn't even fair. And it's not necessarily Waltz's fault. It is because he's a part of the Democratic Party, and so it's like he's got to try to cover up, what they've done, and then he's got to try to promote them, even though he knows that they're doing a bad job and that they've done wrong things. And so he's like essentially just up there lying the whole time. And body analysis people, your haptics and stuff. No, not haptics. Haptics is touch. Your body language, like body language people, they were like, yeah, his body language was that of somebody who's compulsively lying. And so he just like lied his way through the debate, essentially.
Oh, yeah. Well, and you could tell too, like, the things that he would bring up were so scripted. Like, there were very specific things that they wanted him to bring up to make Trump look bad, to discredit Vance as the VP candidate, like, because he brought up the fucking, was it him or the moderator that brought up that JD Vance once said he would never vote for Trump or whatever?
That was the moderator. But on the flip side is the moderators also brought up a question to Walt about how he said he was in Japan or something during their like some sort of event in like the 80s or something.
Okay.
Anyways, it was an exaggerated story that he made, but he wouldn't admit to it. He claimed he was there, and it turned out he wasn't actually there. And he just went on like a 2.5-minute spiel, and they're like, okay, so why did you say that when it wasn't true? And he's like, that's all I'm going to say about it. And they're like, okay. And they moved on. And yeah, it's just interesting because it's like, just, the thing I liked about Vance is when Vance was asked questions about his past, he's like, yeah, here's the deal. I've been wrong. I've made mistakes, whatever. And he's like, I'm not going to sit here and give you a load of BS about some stuff. I was wrong, and now I've changed my ways, or that's how I feel, but just because I feel that way doesn't mean that's how things are going to be, or, whatever.
Right, yeah.
So, it was really good. I liked how Vance was just...
He was so polished.
He was very polished. He seemed to be a lot more honest than Walt, and he did have a lot of like good policy responses to the questions. It didn't seem like scripted mumbling of random shit. It was like, yep, you asked me these questions. I'm going to, say my couple rebuttals to whatever. Then he goes and answers the question, and it's like, this is how we fix it. And, there was a couple times when they're like, well, you didn't answer the questions. And so he'd go back and answer the question and stuff. But he would always answer the question of like how they'd fix it.
I loved that, like, to start off with, like, he's just like, you guys don't really know who I am. Here's my backstory. Like, my mom was a drug addict. I was raised by my grandma. She used, benefits to help raise me. My mom's clean now. Like, he told the story of his, like, upbringing, and that he was, went overseas.
Deployed.
Yep, thank you.
I think he was Marine Corps, he said.
I think so.
Deployed.
And I really liked that. And all Waltz had to say was, Kamala and I were both raised in middle-class families.
Right.
Middle class is a big fucking class.
Right.
So, being at $80,000 a year compared to $250,000 a year is a big difference.
Right.
So I just really liked how, like, JD Vance, to start off with right away, like, he just made him... I connected more with him instantly because I was just like, okay, like, he came from a real rough upbringing.
Right.
Like, he knows what poverty is like.
And did something with his life.
Yeah, especially.
And he's like 38, 39, 40, something like that.
Yeah. And that is also really nice that he is young.
Yeah.
Like, because he has kids, right? 3 or 4 kids?
3 kids. Second grader, so 7, 4, and 2.
Yeah.
Something like
So
that.
like he cares because he has kids that are going to be
Directly impacted by this.
right. Trump cares because he has grandkids that are going to be directly impacted by this.
Yeah.
I've seen posts that Waltz's family say they're going to vote for Trump, so that's always a good sign.
Yeah. That's funny.
Biden's kids, one accused him of sexual abuse and the other one's a drug addict, so that was a good guy right there. Kamala doesn't have kids, right?
I don't know that answer. I think she might. Yeah, Kamala's got kids. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
But still, like I feel like he was just so much more. He's just so much more in it because he still has so much time to live through all this stuff. Kamala Harris is 59.
She looks pretty good.
She does look actually pretty good for her age. I got to admit that. She's 2 stepchildren.
2 stepchildren. Okay, well, still kids, not biological, but still kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's cool, dude. I thought it was a pretty good debate. I like that Vance fact-checked the fact-checkers.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I had no idea that program existed. Walt said that program's actually been in place since 1990. But then they're like, oh, we had apps in 1990, and that made him look pretty stupid. Yeah. But I don't know, dude. I mean, I think a lot. A lot of people are understanding. It's fun because you and I have actually talked to quite a few Democrats who are like, yeah, we're not happy. We're not happy about it. We don't love Trump, but we have to vote for him. Why are you looking at me like that?
Continue.
And I'm just like, yeah. I mean, I love Trump, and I get to vote for him, which I'm in love with. But anyways, like, it's refreshing to see that people care about our country more than they care about their political party. And I hope more people keep waking up to that and bring our country back into hopefully a better economic state than we were at even in 2016 through 2020. And hopefully we can also bring get rid of some of the corruption and get rid of some of the fat in the government, because I think that would help drastically. We need some serious spending cuts.
Yeah. Also, real quick, first off, I didn't know Tim Walz was in the National Guard.
Yeah, he was. He claimed he deployed. He said he went overseas, and when people looked into it, and he actually never deployed. He got out before he deployed. He just claims he deployed.
Yep. Because like his unit deployed, but he left before.
Right. Yep. But he claimed he deployed with his unit.
Secondly, what else did you just bring up? You were just talking about... Oh, one of the things... Maybe this will be the last political thing we talk about. One of the things I see in ads all the time is like Trump wants to take down like public education, and he wants to take down all these like agencies or whatever. He wants to take them down because they're all fucking corrupt. Like, it's not like he's not going to replace them with something better. Like, he's going to replace them with something better. He's not going to just tear apart the Board of Education or whatever.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, to like then have millions of kids not have schooling. It's just like, no, like it's a corrupt system that's teaching our kids in bad ways and all this shit. Like, he wants to rebuild it to make our children better.
Right.
And he wants to do the same thing with like the FDA and NIH and like all these agencies that are corrupt as fudge, to try and make us citizens better.
Right.
Dude, it blows my mind. I just saw a post about this. It was like the reason millennials will live until their hundreds, and it was like the old Flintstone chalky vitamins. Did you ever have those?
I think so.
The picture of them, they look just gross because it's like brown, tan, like
Yeah.
they just like are these muddled, gross colors.
Yep.
And I told Brooke, I was like, I bet you these now are so bright and colorful.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I bet you it's bright red, bright green,
Yeah.
bright orange. And I was like, that's just wild to me that now we're like, let's make everything these bright colors so they look more appetizing.
Well, I think when we were kids, I think our like baby, like the Gerber baby products was actually just like beef. It was
Oh, and like actual meat?
yeah, it was like, it was actually like, it didn't have any oils in it, you know, the seed oils and shit. It was like beef and broth, you know, pureed and shit. And so, because I was looking at that, like, what did Gerber used to be 30 years ago? And it was like real food. It wasn't. Now, if you look at Gerber, it's got 20 ingredients and 15 of them are chemicals.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it's just interesting. It's all interesting. Yeah, I think, you know, if they can get in, and with Robert Kennedy Jr. being a part of it, going after the health system and stuff like that, I think will be really big.
There's a big lawsuit going on right now as well about food dyes because Kellogg's makes like Canadian like Fruit Loops, I think is the main example, makes the Canadian and European versions in the US and exports them out.
Right.
And they like showed the difference of like the cereals. It's mind blowing. Like the European one is just like, so it's the dull colors and the list of ingredients is so short. And the US ones are all these bright, colorful things just loaded with garbage.
Yep.
So yeah, there's like a couple lawsuits going on right now to try and stop that from happening. They'll take decades unless if the government takes over, but I mean, at least people are finally noticing and doing something.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Yeah, it is. What else we got here? What else you got going on?
What else do I have going on? Been slacking up posting videos, guys. I'm sorry. Wednesday nights have now turned into puzzling nights. Me, my sister, her wife, and my mom are doing a speed puzzling contest in November. So we've been training. So my Wednesday nights have been consumed with that now instead of posting videos.
What a sport.
I know. Dude, that puzzle down there is hard. We've been doing pretty good, and then the one we just did yesterday, they had to leave it for me to finish because it was 3/4 of it is white with chickens on it. So it's just a lot of time consuming. You grab one piece and see what tiny little details on it and find it on the box. So, yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I've been training for that. We started booking some stuff for our Scotland trip.
That's good.
We're slackers, if you guys haven't noticed, on some things. We procrastinate some things. Vacations is one thing we always procrastinate on.
Yeah. Bad.
Yeah. But the first hotel we booked is bad ass.
Yeah, super sick.
It's obviously like a castle.
Yep.
It's a small castle though. And the only thing we're worried about is it says like you can either stay in the castle, the cottages, or something else. So we don't know like if we'll actually be in the castle or not. But then the place we're going to stay in Edinburgh is 20 minutes outside of the city. And that one is a castle. And that one I am stoked for.
Yeah.
We didn't book that one yet, but that's for sure what we're going to stay at, I think.
That'll be cool. That'd be cool for sure.
And then we're going to drive around the Scottish Highlands after that.
I'm very excited to drive around that country. It's going to be sick.
It's going to be really cool. I think that's going to be way cooler than our East Coast trip.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I just think it's such a different, be a lot different scenery, you know, different type of climate or however you want to think of it.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we drove through the mountains, obviously,
In fall.
in the fall, and that was beautiful. And
Yeah.
driving through the mountains is really cool. But I think these mountains are going to be different.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Because those mountains are, like, covered in trees. And, like, so you get all the beautiful fall colors. And I think the Scottish Highlands are much more, like, flat grasslands kind of mountainy.
Yeah.
It's going to be really cool. I'm stoked.
I'm excited.
And it's Sean's favorite weather, gloomy.
I fucking love nothing more than that.
Sean's going to be chauffeuring me around because we're going to get a manual car.
Right-hand drive manual. There's things that excite me in life.
And that's one of them.
That's one of them.
$250 to rent a car for the
That's
entire
dirt.
trip.
What kind of car?
That was for the compact one.
Probably like a Skoda or something.
Yeah, it showed like a not a Mini Cooper, but like the smaller one.
All right, dude. We might need to get something a little bigger.
Well, we can either do that or there's like the economy one, which is a little bit bigger.
Yeah, we might have to do that.
Yeah, they're the same price.
Okay, we're gonna do that then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just figured this like a compact or economy car would be best because you never know like parking where we're going.
Yeah, that's true. But I think we're gonna be out of the country so much.
Yeah, for most of it, yeah.
Yeah, want something a little bigger.
So yeah, I think the main objective is to see as many castles as we can.
I love it. That's what I want to fucking do. Just castles.
Yeah. Yeah, we tried a little bit in Portugal. We got to see a couple. And then we saw a couple in Germany. But this trip is... So we knew for a fact we were going to do 2 international trips. And Sean didn't want to plan anything or make any decisions. So I said, I'll pick the destinations and take care of it or whatever. But then he got nosy and wanted to know. So the Portugal trip was for me because it was sunnier and stuff like that. More warmer weather. And then the Scotland trip was for Sean.
Yeah. The problem
of
is
castles.
you haven't booked everything yet.
I know, but
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. You're not holding up to your end of the deal. I'm here.
Well, because you wanted to know where we were going. So I didn't have to hold up to the deal anymore because there was no deal.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay.
But I picked the location, so.
Good.
And that is probably the hardest thing for you to do is to pick anything.
I'd just go back to Poland and eat pierogies. So
I would also go back to Poland and
Yeah.
eat pierogies.
I think it's awesome to go around a place, but I just go back there and just fucking eat pierogies.
I really did like Krakow.
It's so sick.
If we go to Krakow, though, I'd want to go to Belgium to go to the Lego capital of the world.
Yep. That'd be cool. But we're not doing that this time around.
No.
That'll be down the line a bit, I think. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I got going on.
So you got going on. Okay, the last thing I'll bring up is just keeping in mind that there's like trade-offs to every action you have has a either positive or negative or like neutral reaction. And so when you're taking actions, make sure that you're happy or good with the reactions that occur from it. And so what I mean by that is like I wrote a little blog on it, but it's like I went and bought some ammo and it was 500 rounds for $250. And I'm like, damn. To most people that seems like a lot. But to most people, the average car payment for a new car right now is like $703 a month.
That's wild.
$703 a month is the average car payment for a new car right now, and the average used car payment is $525, and the average loan length is 5 to 6 years. And so, like what I said to Sam is, spending $250 on ammo, which we spend more, but just in that scenario, I'm like, for the average person, that would seem like a lot. Like they're, wasting money or whatever. But the way I look at it is like, the average person is spending money on a car, a depreciating asset, just say $525 a month, right? They're spending $525 a month. Well, that's 1,000 rounds of ammo I could buy every month. And ammo's like a pretty stable asset, And so I'm like, well, who's coming out ahead on that? You know what I'm saying? And so I just look at that trade-off. Like, would I rather drive a brand new vehicle, or would I rather drive a used vehicle that's going to get beat up anyways because I fucking only use them for work, and then take that extra money that I don't spend every month and I can buy a new gun, or I can buy a bunch of ammo, or we can do a vacation to Scotland and stuff. Because, I think the difference is like, $525 a month for a year is like $6,500 or something. 700 is 8,800 or whatever. And so it's like, when you look at that kind of stuff, like, are you happy? Is that what really like drives you forward? Is that what really makes you happy? You know what I'm saying? Like, if what makes you happy is driving a new vehicle, more than like taking vacations, having experiences, things like that, then do that. But if you're, I've had people bring this up to me before, like, oh, I want my dream car. And I'm like, well, how much is your dream car? Oh, your dream car's $40,000. So I'm like, you have a car payment every year for the last 30 years, and you just want your dream car for $40,000. Well, instead of having a car payment every year for 30 fucking years, keep a damn vehicle, keep it in good shape, keep it for 10 years so you can buy your dream car, Like, think that's just one example I'm giving, because people, it's so easy to keep up with the Joneses, and people think that's what they need. And it's like, does that really make you happy?
Right.
Or are you just doing it because that's what everybody else does?
Yeah.
And I don't like to play by those games, so that's why I do things a little different, and that allots me the capabilities to go on more vacations and have other kinds of things that I want to have and whatnot, and not be in debt. Not being like consumer debt. But I mean, you can look at that with everything, right? So, another thing is like, I work out, so I lift and do jujitsu, and so the type of working out I do, one, I usually look pretty good, pretty strong, but I'm sore a lot, and shit. And so it's like, am I happy that I spend time and energy lifting so that I can look good and feel strong, but then I'm going to be sore? I am okay with spending time to look good and feel like, and be strong, but then be sore. Like, I'm okay with those trade-offs, right?
Yeah.
And something you should ask yourself is like, if you're not working out, not doing anything, and you're eating the standard American diet, and you have a bloated pregnant belly, but you're a guy or a girl, and you just eating all the bad toxic shit, you're not getting enough sleep, you're staying up, you're drinking, shit like that, what's your trade-off to that? Most likely it's getting on medicine, going to the hospital more often, being sick, dying earlier, things like that. a lot of the time you feel like shit because you got extra weight and strain on all your joints, and it's not muscle, it's just fat. And so, it's just some of those things that it's like, is that worth the trade-off?
Right.
Or is it worth putting in a little more time and exercising, putting in a little more time with the right diet, things like that. Another thing is just like your energy. So it's like if you eat the right things and you go for walks and things like that, you feel better. So you have more energy. And so is it worth doing those things so you have more energy, so you feel better, so you can do things with your family, your friends, go on W's with the dog, things like that? Or do you prefer to be low energy, low motivation, low libido, because you are watching TV all the time and eating poor food and things like that, and not getting out and moving, not getting sunshine, fresh air, and whatever. And so it's just something I think about, is what you're doing really fucking worth it? And the last thing is the average screen time is 7 hours. The average screen time for an American citizen is 7 hours.
A day?
A day.
Okay.
Okay, so essentially, people are putting in a full work day on their screens.
Does it include, like, if you work on a screen?
No. It's TV, phone, tablet, shit like that.
So people are putting in a work day and then putting in a whole nother work day of just on their phone or TV.
Right.
Wow.
And then sleeping. So it's like, where's your time to spend with your family, being present with your family? Where's your time spending with your friends, being present with your friends? Dude, if you think about it, and I've thought about this, how much more time did you used to spend doing activities, hanging out with friends, doing chores, etc., that now don't get done? How much more time do you spend inside? How much more time do you spend isolated, separated from friends, whatever? And you just say you're too busy and don't have time. But if you look at your screen time,
You do.
you do. Because I think about it, dude, like, and we talked about that. Back in high school, before phones, like, ruled the world, you would go to school for the day, which was essentially your 8-hour work day. Then afterwards, I would lift weights. And then a couple days a week, I went and worked for 4 hours, right? Boom. The other days, I would lift. Afterwards, I'd hang out with some friends, go hunting in the barrens, whatever. But, like, you had time to do things, where, like, I was always doing something. It was, maybe it was one day a week. I think it was Mondays I would go home and I'd, like, hang out with the fam and watch TV and shit. And that was it, dude. Otherwise, it was always, like, doing something, and you had so much more time. But now, go ahead.
I even remember, like, in high school, like, my friends and I, we'd get together just to watch TV together.
Right.
Like, I didn't like watching TV alone. Like, if I watched something, it was, like, with my mom, and then I'd, like, it'd be a show that, like, me and Marie would talk about at class the next day.
Right.
Or, like, I'd get together with my friends and we'd watch Ghost Adventures every Friday night at 8 p.m.
Right.
Like, we made them social things.
Right.
And now it's just, like, mind-numbing things.
100%. Yeah, because we used to have, so every week, pretty much, we'd have like, a bunch of guys over, and we'd have wing nights.
Yeah.
And so we had the TV in the kitchen that'd be playing whatever the fuck is playing. But then we'd all be hanging out, watching some TV, fucking off, cooking up wings, hanging out, shit like that. Dude, the fact that we used to just invite friends over every week to just come over and eat food. All the fucking time, dude. Just come, hang out for a few hours, eat food, whatever. Couple guys would be cleaning up shit afterwards, like helping pick up. We'd all be just fucking mowing down food. Dude, none of that happens anymore.
No.
Like, we don't just invite people over. And there's no reason, dude. Like, there's nothing different back then to now.
No.
Like, the house still got cleaned. We still went to school full day, which was essentially like a work day. I still worked out. And so we still had time to essentially do a full work day, work out, hang out with people, have food, whatever, and then make sure the house was clean, say bye to everyone. Like, what happened, dude?
I honestly think that was the big thing, a big shift in 2020.
Huge.
Like, it made people become homebodies, made people become dependent on, like, keeping themselves entertained. Can't hang out with people because then you'll get sick, and then you could get your elderly family members sick, and then they could die. And it was just, like, such a scare tactic, I think, to really, like, slow down social interactions and, like, make people stop hanging out with their friends and their family and doing all these things.
Oh, I think so, big time. I mean, we used to have people over quite often just to, like, hang out and cook and shit throughout college and even, like, the first couple years out of college.
Yeah.
And then it kind of all just dropped off.
Yeah.
So.
And I know, like, it does get a little bit harder, like, once you get older because, like, eventually you have kids, they have to go to school, so you don't want, like, you don't want to keep them up and stuff like that. But it's just, like, even on, like, the weekend, we don't see people, we don't hang out with people. Like, I mean, we do quite a bit, but we usually, like, go up to Ashland to go see them or whatever. But still, like, we don't invite people over just to, like, have a fire.
Right.
Like, people don't do that anymore.
Right.
Yeah, and I think the big shift was in 2020. I think that really forced us to keep ourselves entertained and just kind of scared everyone into being loners more.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too.
And that's when Reels started coming out too, wasn't it? In 2020?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reels wrecked people.
Reels fucked
Ryan and I
people.
talked about that this past weekend. We were like, how much actual quality content did we get from Reels? And we're like, minimal.
Yep.
Compared to before when we'd watch YouTube videos, you know, or like, yeah.
And it's fucked the attention span of people.
Fucked. Dude, I used to watch like 15-minute to hour-long YouTube videos all the time on, like, business.
Yeah.
And then now it's like...
It's hard to just listen to one thing for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Nah, I still do it all the time. But yeah, I know what you're saying. It's changed a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's all I got.
Cool. I'm hungry. I need you to make me dinner.
Time to eat. All right, gang. We'll catch you in the next one.
See ya.